This is Front Row, top news in the Virgin Islands as told only by JTV. As we continue on the road to the April 24, 2023 general election, we take you on the recall sitting of the House of Assembly as we zero in on one of the legislators who declined to participate in voting for or against the immigration and passport validation bill. You will hear why. Do you know that you have up to 3 chances to get it right on your ballot paper when voting? We'll hear it straight from the horse's mouth. There was a unanimous call to vote for independent District 7 candidate when the NDP rallied there. And international elections observers are on the ground here in the Virgin Islands, and you can hear of some of their boundaries. Get the details of all of these when we return.
When things get hot like a sauna, you want a Lana in your corner. I'm feeling stronger with Lana in we corner. Our country has more power with Lana in we corner. The future looking brighter with Lana in we corner. We have a real fight with Lana in we corner. Yes, we have a rocket launcher. Lana in we corner. Ready to blow up any monster. Lana in we corner. No retreat, no surrender with Lana in we corner. Yes, we have a real defender with Lana.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.
Opiate. Hi, I'm Cowboy, and I'm running for president of Stake. Thank you. And I will meet your needs. Some bathrooms are so expensive to build, they come with security. But at Staycation Butchers, our meats are affordable. People always ask me, Cowboy, where does your salmon come from? Well, our salmon comes from the water. A vote for Cowboy is a vote for quality, integrity, and consistency. So come into Staycation Butchers and cast your vote for me, your next president of Steak. Alexandra Durant approves this message.
No, I don't.
Now for the front row news in detail. when the 12 sitting legislators took to the House of Assembly on Monday, April 17, on the instructions of His Excellency the Governor John J. Rankin to lay on the table for passage the Immigration and Passport Validation Bill, members debated and voted. That's with the exception of 4. The Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley, Minister for Education, Youth Affairs and Sports, Honorable Cherie B. D. Castro, and at-large representative and Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly, Neville Sheep-Smith, all of whom recused themselves. But the 4th lent her voice to the matter but did not participate in the voting process. Junior Minister for Trade and Economic Development, Honorable Shireen Flax Charles, and she gave reasons.
I remind the public and my colleagues that I have pushed for us to be more cognizant of these processes which the people have entrusted us to manage. We are expected to debate the legislation or proposed legislation which rules this land. We cannot do so in an informed manner, a thorough manner, if we are always behind the 8 ball. And I want to remind everyone that I have brought this up in the House on many an occasion. We cannot get documents at 7:30, 8:30, 11 o'clock in the night and be expected to come to the House and make an educated decision. And Madam Speaker, it took me some time as a new member of the House of Assembly understanding the ropes, but I saw it happening too many times. As I mentioned before, that we are always behind the 8 ball. This particular report is several months old. As we fight for our independence, it feels like we are fighting against ourselves. We are in an uphill battle against those supposed leaders who continue to shirk proper protocol and process, and in doing so, presents a picture of the Virgin Islands as unfit to lead itself. And we know, Madam Speaker, that that is not the case, as we have so many intelligent persons living in this territory. Even now, we have been told that advice was provided by the former Attorney General, Mr. Baba Aziz. How convenient, as he's presumably halfway around the world and unable to respond. There's a saying that goes, a dead man can't tell no tales. In this case, as far as I am aware, Mr. Aziz is alive and well, but not here in the Virgin Islands to be able to defend himself. Madam Speaker, you are a lawyer by trade. I am sure that you know no legal mind provides an opinion formally without record. And when I say that, I mean written documentation. Where, when, how, and why did Mr. Aziz render the opinion or advice that is supposed to have directed this initiative? Why have we not had it presented to us? What is the secret even now? Madam Speaker, we do not have the civic maturity and national honor to put politics and the everlasting campaign aside to focus on the best interests of our people. Sorry, Madam Speaker, do we not have the civic maturity and national honor to put politics and the everlasting campaign aside to focus on the best interests of our people, those of the soil, and those who come to grow their roots in it. So, Madam Speaker, I will repeat, until such time as this is a matter fully presented and explored, I abstain in the name of true leadership, good governance, and respect for the good sense and good nature of our people. Persons are saying the people need to read the report, but we haven't given persons, including members of the House of Assembly, an opportunity to read the report so then that educated, common sense decisions can be made. How can I make a decision on something when I do not have all the facts? Madam Speaker, I will leave it there. I know it is political season and everybody's gearing up to come after me. But I'm used to that because it's been happening for years.
In the process of establishing her position, Honorable Flaxie Charles was moved to tears at intervals. Here are those moments.
Madam Speaker, I have chosen to measure my words very carefully today because I appreciate that as political as the climate may be, and as much as the entire territory knows that this will be a critical election at an historic juncture in our territory's development, we must also respect that this is a human issue. Madam Speaker, several decades ago, my mother, Mrs. Norma Henry Flax, made the journey to these Virgin Islands, not knowing what these islands would have in store for her. Yet, she was a brave, witty, and loving woman, and in no time, she had fit in beautifully into the vibrant, intimate life of a small island like Virgin Gorda. She married a local by the name of Elwin Anderson Andy Flax and had 7 children, each of whom have gone on to have children. Along with my father, she built a business which remains to this day one of the few locally owned beachfront properties in the territory. She was a pace setter and a change maker. She went on to inspire and empower so many young women and men after her, and was herself the sponsor of several persons who themselves went on to make incredible contributions to these Virgin Islands. Madam Speaker, I have to wonder how she would have felt if she had been told at some haphazard point that a mistake had been made, which jeopardized, quite literally, her sense of belonging to this territory. Many of us who have had the privilege of a local heritage may never truly understand what it means to be transplanted and to have to embrace an entirely new culture. To do so, as these near 700 individuals have done, only to be told that some hasty, politically driven mistake now threatens their security and privilege, must be very jarring. And Madam Speaker, today I got many calls, many messages with big men literally crying. Madam Speaker, I want to make it clear and to set a tone, not just for this House, but for all under the sound of my voice. Even as we seek to backtrack the many mistakes, errors, and irregular actions the people were subjected to over the last several years, we must not allow our passion and energy to be misguided, misplaced, or to be weaponized against our brothers and sisters. Madam Speaker, even today, I am left to wonder how serious we are about the future of all individuals in this territory.
The bill was passed with no nays among those present at the time of voting. Do you know that if by chance you make an error on your ballot paper on polling day, you have up to 3 chances to correct? On Tuesday, April 18, we stopped by the demonstration and had a conversation with Director of Business Development for Election System and Software, Will Wesley.
Well, my name is Will Wesley, and I am a Director of Business Development for Election Systems and Software, and we are proud to be supporting the British Virgin Islands with our vote tabulator. This is where the voters will actually come on election day to actually cast their ballot, and once they vote their ballot, they'll come over to the machine, they actually insert it in the machine, and then it will actually tell them that the ballot has been counted successfully, or if there are any mistakes that they made, it will actually alert them that mistakes have been made, and it will give them the opportunity to correct those mistakes. It's very important that we don't disenfranchise anybody's vote.
Okay. So in correcting a mistake, would it be on the ballot of itself? Or let's say someone would have shaded out of the box or tick out of the box, that correction you're allowed to make?
Very good question. The machine actually looks for both. If somebody, say, circled the ovals instead of filling in the ovals as they are instructed, then the machine will indicate that it's a blank ballot because it doesn't see any marks in the oval area. If they make the mistake of voting for too many candidates, more than what they're allowed, the machine will alert them that that they overvoted on a particular contest. It'll actually tell them where they overvoted, and it will give them the opportunity to correct that.
Okay, that means that they get a new ballot paper?
Yes, that's correct. Once they'll be given the option to return a ballot where a mistake occurred, and they can return it. They can then take it back to the sign-in table. They will put spoiled on that ballot where the mistake happened, and then they would be reissued, and they'll be given up to 3 opportunities to get their ballot marked correctly.
Awesome. So take us through the paces of the machine and how it operates.
Okay, so let me do this. Obviously, when the machine tabulates ballots, they're going to be collected in either a blue bin or in this area, but all of it is going to be under lock and key. I'm going to reopen this here. Okay, so I've actually set the machine up now. This is what a voter will see when they approach the machine. We've got the graphic going here that will actually show them how to insert the ballot in the machine that it can be counted. It's very, very forgiving. It'll allow you to insert this ballot in any orientation so they can't get it wrong. Upside down, backwards, whatever. They insert the machine. It's going to read that ballot properly, and it's going to let them know either the ballot was counted or they made a mistake, and give them the opportunity. And so once they insert it, the public count will increase, showing that that ballot has been counted. And you'll also get a big message on the full screen that says, "Thank you for voting, your ballot has been counted." So we made it very interactive and make it so that when voters interact with the machine, it's very simple.
Okay. All right, so it should be an easy peasy day for
Let's just pray and and hope we have a good, quiet election day. Everything.
Is there an emergency backup system?
Yes. If we have any issues and stuff with the machine where the machine is not functioning, we'll have like a spare machine so we can come out and replace it, and they can just continue voting. In the meantime, they can still sign in, be issued a ballot paper, and then this compartment right here is what we call the emergency bin. This will be open, and they can insert their ballot in the emergency bin. Once the machine issue has been corrected, then they can take those and then put them in the machine to be counted, along with all the others.
How many countries you would have worked with the system so far?
Oh gosh, I don't know off the top of my head. We do have some other countries in the Caribbean. We do the U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, and we do Anguilla. Anguilla, and not Anguilla, Anguilla. And we have several countries over in Southeast Asia. We have voting systems in Canada. So in Southeast Asia, we do Guam, Republic of Palau, Marianas Islands. And so we're kind of all over the place.
When the campaign started heating up, a former legislator and at-large candidate with the National Democratic Party, Dr. Kedrick Pickering, did state that he was seeking to have independent at-large candidate for District 7, Pearline Scatliff-Leonard, join forces with him. Now, during a recent NDP rally, they lobbied District 7 electorates to vote Pearline Scatliff-Leonard.
Do the right thing in the interest of your country's advancement. Do the right thing. Vote for me, Lorna Smith, and vote for all of the at-large candidates. I gather that Pearline is in the audience. I ask you to vote for her. She is not on the ticket, but she is with us. I ask you to vote for Pearline as well.
As a resident of the 7th District, myself, I share the same concerns and aspirations of all of you. I am particularly proud of running alongside my fellow 7th District and resident at-large candidates. Dr. Kedrick Pickering, together we will work tirelessly to ensure our community thrives. We also need you to vote in this district for Miss Pearline Scatliff-Leonard. We cannot afford for our districts, for our 7th district to be represented by the VIP. We simply must get the VIP out of the 7th district. Vote for Pearline.
I want to encourage you that when you go to the poll that you vote out the accidental premier and you install Pearline Scatliff-Leonard as your district representative.
This is Pearline Scatliff-Leonard's first time at contesting a general election in the Virgin Islands. An independent international team of election observers are on the ground here in the Virgin Islands. They are from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, British Islands, and the Mediterranean Region Elections Observation Mission. At a press conference held on April 18, they shared some of their limitations.
Good afternoon and welcome to the official opening of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association BIMR British Islands and Mediterranean Region Elections Observation Mission to the Virgin Islands and general elections on the 24th of April 2023. As mentioned, my name is Honorable Fatoumata Njie and I am a Member of Parliament from the Republic of the Gambia. I have the great honor to act as the head of mission, and it is a privilege for me to be here today. CPA-BIMR is the British Islands and Mediterranean branch of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. The organization seeks to promote knowledge and understanding of constitutional, legislative, economic, and social aspects of parliamentary democracy by promoting close relations and cooperation between its branches and other CPA regions. CPA-BIMR works to build informed parliamentary communities within the region, across the Commonwealth and beyond. CPA-BIMR was invited by His Excellency John Rankin, CMG, with the agreement of the Honourable Premier and the Leader of the Opposition to observe the election proceedings, including arrangements on polling day and advanced polling day. It is the fourth time CPA-BIMR has been invited to observe the parliamentary elections, the first time being in 2011, and then in 2015, and then again in 2019. Since 2011, CPA-BIMR has organized short-term election observation missions across 6 UK overseas territories, including the Anguilla, Montserrat, Turks and Caicos Islands, Cayman Islands, and St. Helena, and in all 3 Crown dependencies, namely Jersey, Guernsey, and the Isle of Man. The CPA UK has also overseen 3 election assessment missions to the UK general elections. Please allow me to introduce you to the core team, which consists of Vasil Vashanka, the electoral campaign analyst from Sweden. He's right behind you. And Marlborough, our legal political analyst from Ireland. Matthew Hamilton, CPA-BIMR mission coordinator from the US. And Flo ten Haken, CPA-BIMR election observation lead from the Netherlands. We will also be joined by 3 short-term observers, Honourable Sheila Rogers-Webster from Anguilla, Honourable Randy Howell from the Turks and Caicos Islands, and Honourable Samantha Sacramentos from Gibraltar. They will be joining us over the weekend to observe the proceedings on polling day. I will now hand over to Anne to discuss the purpose of our mission here this week. Thank you very much. Anne.
Thank you, Honourable Njie, and good afternoon, everybody. Now, I want to talk to you a bit about the purpose of our election observation mission and how we operate our election observation mission. As the name suggests, our role is one strictly of observation. We're here to observe the election. We're not here to participate in the process itself in any way. Our role is a passive one. We won't be interfering with the process at all in any way. We have a consolidated methodology that governs our work, that's long established, and we abide by the Declaration of Principles for International Election Observation. The CPA-BIMR is a signatory, a party to this Declaration of Principles observed by election observers around the world. So ourselves and our colleague observers, we all really act impartially, professionally, and with integrity. It's important to stress that our role isn't one of assessment or comment about the politics, about the political outcome of this election. Instead, what we focus on is the quality of the election, the operational modalities of the election. We're really looking at the conformity of the electoral process with the domestic and international frameworks that govern the elections here in the British Virgin Islands. So we don't just focus then on observation of election day. We do observe on election day, of course, on polling day, but our observation also includes every aspect from opening of polls to the casting of the votes to the counting of the votes, but we also look broadly at the legal and political context for the elections. So the areas that we address in our observation are the following. We look at the legitimacy and the credibility of the elections. So for us, that's all about inclusion. Just how inclusive is the election? Is there equal opportunity to participate? And we look finally at the transparency of the process. So that's what we're about. And I'll hand back to Fleur now.
Thank you very much, Anne. So during our time here in the British Virgin Islands, we'll be meeting with key election stakeholders. That includes the Supervisor of Elections and her team, political parties, political candidates, polling station staff and voters. And we'll also be meeting with a wide range of representatives from different professions, as well as with civil society. And in addition, we'll be attending election-related events and monitor the campaign and the media. Our preliminary findings will be shared just after Election Day, so on Wednesday, the 26th of April, and we'll host a press conference to announce our preliminary statement at 3 p.m. on that day. And then finally, within 2 months of Election Day, we will publish our final report, and that report will be more in-depth and will also include some recommendations on potentially how the process could be improved going forward. These recommendations that we offer are for the consideration of the people of the British Virgin Islands, and it is up to you to take these forward. We want to highlight that the Election Observation Mission can be contacted during and after our stay on the island. So for anyone that wishes to get in touch with us, we have an email address to enable people to get in touch, and that is cpabimr@parliament.uk. And we are also on Twitter at CPA_BIMR.
Kathy Richards, JTV News. Prior to your arrival here, were you afforded the opportunity to speak with any of the stakeholders of the territory as you prepare to come here?
So we actually have had the opportunity to engage with a number of stakeholders before arrival, and we've held a series of virtual meetings prior to our departure to come here, and we'll continue those meetings in person whilst we're here on the island.
Okay, has there been any concerns raised by those stakeholders or any one of them as it relates to the House being recalled just yesterday? And if that's possible for you to share, if that was so.
The House being recalled is something that we've heard about as well, and we will be looking at what happened and see how that fits in with the larger electoral process that's been ongoing, but it'd be too early for us to comment on that.
No, okay, so you have not had the opportunity to understand what would have resulted in the House being recalled?
We are looking into finding any information that we can on any aspect of this election, and this obviously is a part of that. So we'll be reviewing any information that is shared with us, and we'll have to see if we want to comment on that as part of our final report.
Thank you so much. My next question is, this is your 4th time here. Could you give us a quick overview as to what has been your observations from the progression of your observations from the first time you came up until 2019 and now that you're here again?
Thank you. I mean, if anyone else wants to interact, then please do feel free. But if I may say so, every election takes place in a very unique electoral context, and this election is going to be quite different from the last one. There have been some electoral changes, but also a lot has happened in the past 4 years, including COVID and other things. So we'll be looking at this election in the context that it's in right now. And obviously, we'll also look at if any of our recommendations from 2019 have been taken forward or not, and whether or not we might want to make similar recommendations or different ones. But like I said, this will be a unique election that we look at. None of us have been to the BVI before, so this is our first time here, and we will have to see what our final outcome on that will be.
And we should also bear in mind that we are impartial. We can only recommend, and it is up to the people of Virgin Island to do the implementations. We cannot force them, we cannot impose on them. We can only observe and give our recommendations.
I would say that it is really good practice for democracies and mature democracies to invite international observers to come and observe their elections. And so we're very pleased to have received the invitation once again to come this time round as well. In terms of the progression of electoral reform, that is beyond our remit as a mission, and it is up to the politicians and the people of the British Virgin Islands to take action on that. All we will do is comment and see the election as we find it and the electoral process as we find it, and see if the election here is in line with the legal obligations from the domestic legal framework in BVI, and if that aligns with its own domestic legislation, as well as the international obligation that BVI has as well. If anyone wants to add, Anne, did you want to? Yeah,
maybe just to concur with what Fleur has said, but to point out, I suppose our mission really is very strongly a technical mission. We would see it as part almost of a technical assistance program. We come here to offer analysis of what we find as to the implementation of the frameworks, and then how they might better be implemented in the future. But it is entirely then a matter that moves into the political realm as to how much is taken forward. And certainly we will, in our assessment afterwards, comment on the validity of the recommendations where we still find the pre-existing recommendations to be valid, and that will speak for itself. But it's very much a sort of a supportive technical mission. It's a human rights mandate that's behind election observation. It's really about looking at the rights and the link between the individual and the electoral framework. So we offer the commentary, but where it goes from then is thrust into the political domain, as you observe yourself. Thanks.
Technically, it is an extra eye, but not an extra hand. The hand is left to the politicians and the people of the Virgin Islands.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Matthew. I'm election coordinator, and I don't have much to say except that as both CPA, BIMR, and the election observation work we do in our general daily work, we work with other territories and we support them where it's appropriate, and we leave it to the sovereignty of different places to then take things forward. So it is important that, you know, we offer that advice and that review, and as we said, it's useful for all types of democracies. Honourable Jai pointed out that we've observed the UK election, so we think generally it's a good practice for all democracies to have their elections observed internationally to then support that process.
Finally, who funds your stay?
I can answer that.
Yeah, you can.
So it is partly funded through both the FCDO, the Virgin Islands government, and CPA, BIMR. So it's all jointly funded through all of those channels together.
On election day, we'll be going around polling stations, so some of you and some of the voters might see us wearing our high-vis jackets. It will be easily recognisable.
On polling day, are you allowed in the polling booths, and are you allowed to speak with the electorates while they are in the polling booths or stations?
So on election day, we will be going into polling stations. We have been given the authority to do so. The team has given us access to all aspects of the election. And in terms of our engagement with voters, we would not want to interfere in any way with voters going to cast their vote on that important day. So we will just be quietly standing in the background. If anyone wants to reach out to us and speak to us, we'd be happy to hear from them. But at the same time, we shouldn't provide any barrier for any voter wishing to vote on election day.
They promise that on April 25, they will report to the media their findings and recommendations. And during this season, as we continue to tap into the minds of our seniors, today we feature Mr. Andy Flax of Virgin Gorda. You remember the first time you voted here?
Vaguely, yeah. Because it wasn't too much pressures and things didn't come to here. Virgin Gorda was slow getting going, you know.
So how it has changed over the years?
Pretty much. And this year it looked like it's going to be a little hotter with our district.
Yeah.
It looks so. It looks so.
The first time the district is in a scenario like it is right now?
No, I had a couple of them in between, but this one is, you know, got 3 or 4 pretty heavy candidates running for the district here, and but still, in a lot of situations, it's just like the game. Sometimes the better team don't win. It happens, you know, because of an error here or there. But you know, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Yeah.
You think a lot of people are really interested in voting this year, especially the young people?
Lots of people were saying no, but I think there's a lot more to come. And when some of it start to get out there and things that could really happen, they're going to be after it. One of the things I like that I see on Virgin Gala now is a fair number of Virgin Guardians proper looking into the business, you know, and that's one of the things that I like, because it needs to have more Virgin Guardians, more sons of the soil, daughters of the soil, in the field. They should be in there in the mix with, because one of the things that happens to the people that come in, to do business, they have plenty more money than us. So even if you got the stuff to the head and whatnot, the money is kind of difficult to do. But you know, and I don't know, because as I say, nowadays most of the things you say, it get kettle of worms going, because we still have that where you're from thing and so on. And I got the feeling, I'm not quarreling nobody, but if you live in the islands here anywhere, I lived in St. Croix for 5 years. I went to school there. After 3 years, you know, I feel like I was Crucian and mixed with, and you got the same thing though, but the way I mix, my friends in school, when I got there for the first year, everybody used to call me Atolian or Garrett. Yeah. And I had a couple of Spanish friends in the school that I went to. One was Justino Navarro, the other one was Celedonio Ramos of St. Croix. I never forget those guys. And they tell me one day, they say, no, this is what about the third year. They say, well, look, every year you get people from your island, not many, but a few from Antigua. When you hear us calling them Garretts and Tolian, you join with us because you here with us now. And I gather from that. So this thing ain't stop. Don't care what you do. But now too, one of the things that is happening everywhere, I guess it happened all over the world. Lots of the people who are Virgin Guardians, who are starting up these business, their parents came here in the early goings. Taylor Woodrow, who I worked with, Mambug and Tarson, who built the best dock I ever see built anywhere, a single dock. And a lot of the folks now who are getting in these businesses, their parents may be from elsewhere, but they are what? They're here, they're Virgin Guardians. So basically, their parents who came here, they're here. You can't call them now a Garrett now. You could call them, but they're Virgin Guardians.
No response to that.
You know, and this is one of the things that I think is mashing us up. Because on both sides, it needs the embracing.
Yes.
You know? But sometimes you don't get it. Sometimes my kids, people still tell some of them they're from Antigua. You know, my God. You know? So, you know, you just have to pass it on, pass it off and, you know, stay with it.
What would be your advice to the general public right now in this season as we prepare to go to another election?
Don't make a mistake. They know, they see, and to be honest, everywhere they know exactly where the correct vote is and where it should go. But it's such a population. It's family and that kind of stuff, you know. And the thing is, we almost know everybody's faults. But one of the things that people sometimes you get connect up wrong, and you get in the wrong, and you may go in cool, and then sometimes you may change, and you change your ugly, you know. So, but I think we're gonna be all right.
You're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I would like to see a particular party win it all. I would like to see it, but I got the feeling that because of how it is and so many parties, I think it's gonna split left, right, and here in front and behind. But then, if the party I'm thinking don't pull it through totally, I hope they could find enough to form. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Also know that you're down.
And how it would go, whatever. And most of us are gonna have a good friend, a good relative, or whatnot, lose because everybody can't win. Only 13 could get in there.
Yep.
And you know, but you have to weigh out before you start changing up your mind and that kind of thing, because you could make a mess for your own good characters, you know. Yeah. But let's hope that in the final analysis we could get the BVI back on track.
That's it for this edition of a Front Row General Elections 2023 edition. Don't forget to check us out for the latest news on our website at jahphixtelevision.com. I'm Kathy Richards. Thank you so much for tuning in.
When things get hot like a sauna, you want a Lana in your corner. I'm feeling stronger with Lana in we corner. Our country has more power with Lana in we corner. The future looking brighter with Lana in we corner. We have a real fight with Lana in we corner. Yes, we have a rocket launcher. Lana in we corner. Ready to blow up any monster. Lana in we corner. No retreat, no surrender with Lana in we corner. Yes, we have a real defender with Lana in we corner.
Opiate. Hi, I'm Cowboy, and I'm running for president of Stake. Thank you. And I will meet your needs. Some bathrooms are so expensive to build, they come with security. But at Staycation Butchers, our meats are affordable. People always ask me, Cowboy, where does your salmon come from? Well, our salmon comes from the water. A vote for Cowboy is a vote for quality, integrity, and consistency. So come into Staycation Butchers and cast your vote for me, your next president of steak. Alexandra Durant approves this message.
No, I don't.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.
Hello everyone. A more efficiently run general election 2023 is anticipated with the continued use of the electronic tabulating system and the electronic poll books. Today, I am here to share with voters what they can expect when they go to the polling stations. Upon arriving to the polling station, you will assume the next available position in the established line that leads to the entrance of the polling room. A poll clerk will be there to assist with line management should you have any concerns or require assistance. This poll clerk will also perform an initial check to ensure that voters who are waiting in line are in fact at the correct polling station. The poll clerk will also respectfully insist that you utilize the sanitizing station before entering the polling room. When you enter the polling room, you will be served by presiding officers and poll clerks. The presiding officer is responsible for the management of the polling station. After entering, do not immediately approach the check-in station. You will be given a signal to approach, and only then should you approach the check-in station. You will initially be asked to state your name as it appears on the revised list of voters in the e-poll book.
Brian Carter.
as well as to present a form of identification. The forms of identification that are accepted are a voter registration card or any valid government-issued identification such as a driver's license, passport, B-Longer card or a letter from Civil Registry and Passport Office issued in the month of March 2023 to facilitate voter registration. As soon as the poll clerk has verified the voter's name and details in the e-poll book, the poll clerk will give you the printed receipt paper from the electronic poll book which confirms that you were checked in, and thereafter direct you to the ballot station. The ballot station is staffed by at least one presiding officer who will instruct the voter on the mode of voting. A single ballot on which voters will vote for one local electoral district candidate and up to 4 territorial electoral candidates will be issued. The presiding officer will place his or her initials on the ballot and instruct the voter how to make his or her mark, which should be a cross in the oval or by shading the oval. Voters will be told to vote for up to 1 candidate in the local electoral district and up to 4 in the territorial electoral district. The presiding officer will place the ballot in a folder and direct the voter to the voting booth. The voter will then take the folder with the ballot inside to one of the voting booths and make his or her marks. After the voter has selected the candidates of his or her choice, he or she will proceed to the tabulating machine to cast the ballot at the ballot scanning station. As long as the voter selects 1 candidate in the local electoral district and 4 in the territorial electoral district, casting the ballot only takes a few seconds. The electronic tabulating system will display the following message: "Welcome. Please insert your ballot." After the voter inserts the ballot, it will drop down in the ballot box and the tabulating system will display the message, "Thank you for voting." The voter will then leave the tabulating system, hand the folder to a poll clerk before exiting the polling room. The voter can thereafter exit the polling station. Scenarios that may occur outside the norm. 1. Undervote. There may be circumstances in which a voter undervotes, that is, the voter does not vote for any candidates in the local electoral district or does not vote for 4 candidates in the territorial electoral district. In such a case, when the voter inserts the ballot in the electronic tabulating system, a message will appear on the screen which gives the voter the option to cast or return the ballot. If the voter selects cast ballot, the electronic tabulating system will display a message that states, "Thanks for voting. Your ballot has been counted." If the voter selects return, he or she will be given the opportunity to return to the voting booth and vote for the correct number of candidates. As soon as the voter has correctly marked the ballot, he or she will return to the electronic tabulating machine and cast the ballot. 2. Overvote. If for some reason the voter selected more than 1 candidate for the local electoral district or more than 4 candidates in the territorial electoral district, when the voter inserts the ballot in the electronic tabulating system, a message will appear on the screen that gives the voter the option to cast or return the ballot. If the voter selects cast ballot, the electronic tabulating system will display a message that states, "Thanks for voting. Your ballot has been counted." If the voter selects return, he or she will be given the opportunity to return the ballot to the presiding officer, who will write "spoiled" on the ballot and give the voter another ballot so that he or she can vote for the correct number of candidates. Accordingly, the voter will also return to the voting booth, and as soon as the voter has correctly marked the ballot, he or she will return to the electronic tabulating machine and cast the ballot. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A more efficient system is now in place for casting your ballots for General Election 2023. It is our fervent hope that we have facilitated a smoother journey for you in navigating this process come Election Day. Thank you for watching and do enjoy the rest of your day.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.